So I find people interesting, and I find social rules confusing. So 94-year-old man, a very good customer. I've done work for him a lot. I've done work for his son. Now I'm doing work for his daughter through the 94-year-old man. The 94-year-old man is the one that dropped these mower and the snow blower off. But it is his daughter's equipment. She lives in Kansas City, and he lives around here. His son lives around here. So I had no reason to distrust this guy. Done a lot of work for him. He's always paid well. And I don't even think he's broke. You know, like he struggles with money. I don't think his son struggles with money. So, you know, good customer, you know, service relationship. So I am told regularly that, especially in a small town, you have to have friendship, neighborly kind of attitude when doing work for your customers. And I understand that philosophy. I get it. And I try really hard to do it. So especially since I already know this guy, and especially since he's always paid, never had a problem with him, I had no reason to believe that anything would go wrong with this. So he drops it off, I don't know, let's say on a Thursday, maybe a Wednesday, and by 2 days later, I had it fixed, both of them. This one was hard to pull, just needed a valve adjustment. This one needed a carburetor cleaned. That was it. I put a new air filter on that. I had to flush the oil on this, so there was a little bit of parts cost, you know, a new air filter, 2 oil changes, but there was no parts cost on this. But in the end, it's still a significant amount of money. Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, if you don't have any parts cost on this, this is not a big deal. Well, except that, you know, I'm in business to make money, not to just do things for free. So I don't completely agree with that assessment that this one is not a loss. Although some people would even say that one's not a loss. It's just oil in the air filter. I mean, how much are you out? $10? But, you know, it all adds up. So I call him up, and he says, so I must have called him on a Friday. Yeah, I called him on a Friday and said, it's ready. Well, I didn't expect him to come over the weekend to get them. So he says, okay, can you hold on to them for a few days and I'll come get them? Sure, no problem. Well, like I said, I already didn't expect him to come pick it up on the weekend. Although you could sit there and reasonably think, well, that's what he meant. A few days, let's get past the weekend. But Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday rolls around. Now, by Thursday, I'm thinking, it's been a little bit longer, a few days, hasn't it? So Friday comes, so that's 1 week, 7 days, and I message him again. Or I message him this time, and I tell him how much it is, clearly thinking that he's just forgotten about it. And his response was, okay. What does that mean? Okay. Now, getting back to this thing that I'm supposed to be friendly and neighborly and work with people. Okay, it's a small town. We all have a reputation that we have to uphold because one bad piece of information and your reputation is absolutely ruined with the rest of the people in the town. You know, in a big city, it wouldn't matter near as much, but in a small town, it matters a lot. But the social rule that I have to be friendly and neighborly does not apply to both parties. And in all honesty, I would imagine sitting here talking to you, you probably are thinking, well, no, it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply to the customer. The customer's always right. But when you have that much money sitting, waiting, I mean, what if there was parts on this? That has happened. So I don't want you to think that I'm just complaining because there wasn't a lot of parts involved. And now, you know, this is all labor. That's all free money to you, buddy. What are you talking about? You're not losing anything on this. But there has been times there's been parts involved. A lot of parts. And, you know, like $60 in parts and $10 in labor, you know, that kind of stuff is like, man, I need my money. But you're right. I'm not out any money. It's not like I'm going to miss a meal because I'm out a bunch of part labor. Although there's still money involved, it's all profit. I get it. But the social contract that I'm supposed to abide by is not a two-way street. And the social rules suggest that it's not supposed to be a two-way street. It's a one-way street. You do what I say, but he doesn't have to. And it's quite confusing. And I'm sure there are people listening to me right this minute, and in the back of their mind, they're saying, well, you're wrong. You're just wrong. That's not his problem. Your money is not his problem. Because it happens way too much. That's why I think this. It happens a lot more than you would think. It's not like, you know, okay, every now and then, once a year, it happens. And even with good customers. So, there's Shirley coughing and hacking. Poor thing. She doesn't want to go inside today. So I've been looking at legal avenues. Not that I'm worried about this. I suspect I'll hold on to this until the springtime. I'm not in a hurry to get rid of it. It's not in my way. It will be in the springtime. Or maybe even March when, you know, mowers start rolling in. And then I'll worry about it. But right now I'm not worried about it. I can always contact the son. And like I said, this is the daughter's equipment. But I don't have her contact information. I've never worked with her. And, you know, in a small town, again, the social rule is, well, you just work with people. They'll take care of you. Handshake, you know, that kind of stuff. But they don't. It's the rudeness is everywhere. So like I said, I've been looking up the legal stuff. Now, if I contacted him and he said, yeah, I'll pick it up in a week, and then I contacted him again and I didn't get anything, and I contacted him again and I didn't get a response, and I contacted him again and didn't get a response. After a certain amount of time, you can say, okay, this has been abandoned. You know, so let's say you have a rule that you're not going to hold on to stuff for more than a week. After a week, you can send him a certified letter and says, okay, your equipment is sitting here. You got 30 days or 45 days. I think it's 45 days in Missouri to pick it up. And here's how much it's going to cost. And then when the 45 days have expired, as long as he has not contacted you or made any effort to come pick it up, you can sell it. That's called abandonment or something like that. But there's another thing. It's called a lien or something in which this applies to. So I called him. He says, okay, a few days. Great. Well, after a week, I called, you know, I messaged him again. But he responded. He said, okay. So he is aware that he has equipment here. He knows it's here. And I can't sell it. I can't send him a certified letter, even if, you know, 6 months went by. If I contact him every week and say, hey, you know, your equipment's here, and he replies back with, okay, that's not abandoned. He knows it's here. And he can sue me if I sell it. Because he has been acknowledging that he has equipment here. So in order to sell this, I would basically have to sue him. So and it's really not a lawsuit, but it's a lien or whatever it's called. But basically it's a lawsuit. So I have to get a lawyer, filing fees, all that stuff, so I can get a judge to tell me that I can sell it. Well, that's way too much money. This equipment, let's say it's, you know, $500 I could get out of it. You know, like I said, the push mower really isn't worth anything because it's been damaged. So that leaves a snowblower in an area that it doesn't snow very often. I mean, I can't imagine anybody ever buying one around here. Well, not a lot of people do buy one around here. You know, this is the second one that I've gotten this year from this guy. Well, from anybody, and both of them were from this guy. He owns one, and then there's this one. So you just don't. There's just not a lot of them around here. So that means I would have to sell it in an area that has snow. And this thing is not very fancy. It's not one of those self-propelled ones or anything. So you're not going to get much money out of it. You're not going to get $500 out of it. So I have $145 labor tied up into this, court fees and lawyer fees, which would all in total exceed what it's worth. So this is a loss. If I'd had parts in this, it would have been a negative loss. This is just labor loss. And again, I know there are going to be people out there who just don't see what the big deal is. So what? You lost a little time. But if this happens all the time, what am I going to do? Now, of course, I'll try to contact the son in the springtime, see if he's willing to do anything about it. He might. I mean, he's a nice guy too. I've met him. And what he always says when he's here is, "I'm really glad you're somebody local." He says it every time he's here. So, you know, his father may be getting old and forgetful, or you know, whatever. I don't know. And that might be part of the reasoning why he said okay. He doesn't have a way to pick it. I don't know what the deal is, but I would imagine the son would be a bit more cooperative. And so I'll just wait until the spring when we start getting busy, and I'll ask him. Again, I'm not worried about this. I mean, for several reasons. One, he's a good customer. Two, he's old. And three, his son is going to be involved. My point is the social contract. I don't understand the social contract. The one that I supposedly have agreed upon, that I didn't, that I have to make sure I comply with, which I don't want to, because there are people out there who believe that they can walk on you and it's totally acceptable, that they have a right to push you away, to make you hold on to their bill. I mean, here's the thing. They drop off their lawnmower and then they say, "I want you to buy a $60 part. And I'm going to pay you for that $60 part." Okay, now, you could ask for money up front, but they're not going to pay it, especially in this area. They do not want to pay up front in this area at all. They don't trust you when you ask for upfront money. There's contractors all over this area. I mean, you see it on Facebook constantly. "Don't hire this guy. He takes, you know, your money and he never comes back." So they're not going to trust that. So that means you have to invest into their mower for a return. Now, sometimes these investments are great. I mean, I just changed the inner tube and a battery, and it made a 45% return on investment. 45%. You don't get that in the stock market. It was 10 minutes worth of work. I mean, it was not a big deal. So I was pretty huge. But then you do a job like this and you don't make any money, so you lose that $60. Well, that's not a $45 return investment or 45% investment or return investment anymore. You're in a negative now. So it happens more than you would think. I see it on Facebook or YouTube all the time. Mechanics complaining that they've abandoned their cars and they won't pay. And there's just not a lot you can do. If they abandon it, you can sell it, but there's still that whole legal. In some states, it's a terrible legal process, actually. So everybody sees the company as the bad guy. You know, landlords. You hear this one all the time. Landlords, they're the bad guy. They shouldn't be raising rent unless they're improving the property. I heard that one just the other day. Well, no, they're going to raise the rent because sales tax went up, insurance went up, things go up in price. They got to pay. And you're paying that. That's your responsibility, not the landlord's. If you want to live there, that's what you got to pay. But they expect the landlord just to give these places away. And you think, okay, so you got this old guy who decided to invest in some property for his retirement, and now you got people just tearing the place up, telling you that you should give it away for free. I don't know. I don't know how this social contract was written, but I definitely didn't sign it. And that's really aggravating that I got to follow it. So if you'll click this up next box, take the video over to my other channel, we'd appreciate it. Go check it out. So if I can inspire you, pay your bills so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.